I can still hear the echo of the door clicking shut that night. It wasn't loud, but it pierced through the silence like a gunshot. My wife Melissa had left for a friend's party. Her tone deliberately casual, her perfume heavy with jasmine and something unfamiliar. She had brushed my cheek with a kiss that lingered just a second too long, as if to mask what she didn't say. I told her I wasn't comfortable with it. She said I was being controlling. Now, sitting alone on the couch, the soft hum of the refrigerator behind me, I replayed our argument over and over. Each word sharper, colder, more poisonous than I remembered. "You said we'd explore things together," she had whispered earlier that evening, eyes glistening with something between defiance and guilt. "Together doesn't mean you go without me," I replied. "It's just curiosity, Alex. Don't make it bigger than it is." But it was big. It was everything. The moment she left, the house lost its warmth. The TV flickered across the empty room, and I stared at her wine glass half filled on the counter, lipstick smudged like a crimson fingerprint. My chest tightened, and I realized it wasn't jealousy that burned inside me. It was betrayal dressed up as freedom. I told myself to trust her. Tried. But trust isn't a switch you flip back on after someone crosses a boundary you built together. Around midnight, she still wasn't home. I checked my phone, no messages. I scrolled through social media until a photo froze me. A friend from her yoga group had posted a story. Dim lights, champagne glasses, silhouettes too close, bodies pressed together. In the corner of the frame, Melissa's unmistakable red dress, her hand on another man's arm. My heart stuttered. I replayed the clip until it looped seamlessly, like a knife twisting again and again. I wanted to believe it wasn't her. I wanted to believe that I was overreacting. But every time I blinked, I saw the curve of her smile, the one she used to save for me, on someone else's lips. When she came home at 2:43 a.m., the air outside was damp from rain. I sat waiting, the room dark except for the faint glow of a lamp. She froze in the doorway when she saw me. "You're still up?" she asked, trying for casual. Her voice cracked on the last word. I gestured toward her phone. "You didn't text. Or call." She looked down, fiddling with her purse strap. "I didn't think I had to." "Where were you really, Melissa?" Her eyes flicked up, and in that tiny pause, everything unraveled. She didn't even have to speak. The silence said it all. I stood, feeling a strange calm take over, the kind that only comes right before a storm. "You went, didn't you? To that swingers party your coworker mentioned." Her jaw tightened. "Alex, it wasn't like that." "Then tell me what it was." She hesitated. The air between us pulsed with tension. "It was freeing," she whispered finally. "I needed to feel wanted. To feel alive again." The words struck me harder than any confession could. My hands trembled, not from anger but from heartbreak. "Was I not enough?" I asked quietly. She flinched. "You were. But lately you've been distant. Focused on work, on control. I felt like I was disappearing in our marriage." Her excuses landed like shards of glass, each one cutting deeper. I wanted to scream, to demand why she couldn't have just talked to me, but instead I whispered, "So you found yourself in someone else's arms." Melissa's eyes filled with tears, but they didn't fall. "It wasn't supposed to happen that way." I turned away, staring at the reflection of her red dress in the window. It looked like a wound against the night. For days I couldn't sleep. Every sound in the house felt like an accusation. The smell of her perfume on the sheets made me nauseous. She tried to talk, to explain, but every word was hollow. I replayed that video until it became static in my mind. Her laughter mingling with strangers, her body no longer hers but public, offered. A week later, I found an envelope on the kitchen table. Inside was a note in her handwriting. "I need to figure out who I am. I never meant to hurt you, but I can't stay here pretending nothing happened. I hope one day you'll understand." No goodbye. No apology. Just absence. I didn't chase her. Instead, I took off my wedding ring that night and placed it beside the note. The circle of gold gleamed faintly under the light. Perfect, unbroken, yet meaningless now. Months passed. The pain dulled, but the trust one once had, the belief that love was enough, died quietly. People told me to move on, that she'd made her choice. But what haunted me most wasn't her betrayal. It was the thought that she had convinced herself it wasn't one. Sometimes late at night I still imagine the sound of that door clicking shut. Not because I miss her, but because that was the moment I realized how fragile loyalty really is. One decision, one boundary ignored, and everything you built together can crumble into dust. And yet, in that ruin I found something unexpected: peace. Not forgiveness, not closure, but the clarity that comes when illusions finally break. Melissa had gone searching for freedom. What she found was emptiness. What I found was myself.